I actually think you need your head examined.
Can you answer that?
I think you need your head examined.
You guys are going to love this clip of Trump sycophant Kari Lake being pinned down in her election fraud lies by British journalist Emily Mightless. British journalists just seem so much more relentless, and this clip is a prime example.
I actually think you need your head examined.
Can you answer that?
I think you need your head examined.
Donald Trump has talked, Mr. Trump's talked about the need for a new tone in politics, a civility in politics, a kind of unity. What does that mean to you?
I actually think the tone has always been good. I believe that what we're trying to push is a strong economy, secure borders. These are policies everybody wants. And
You
so
don't think the tone in American politics got out of hand?
I think the tone is really disturbing when the media is calling a man like Donald Trump Hitler. They're comparing him to Hitler.
That is literally what Donald Trump's VP, JD Vance, said. He said that Trump is like America's Hitler. And keep in mind, when Kari Lake attacks the media, she was a radio host for over 10 years. So she was the media. She did report news. So all of her attacks are baseless. And number 3, I'll keep repeating this. Donald Trump, he entered politics and cranked up the heat immediately. His claim to fame was saying that Obama wasn't born in America. His next claim to fame was coming up with nicknames for Hillary Clinton. Then he got his supporters to chant "lock her up." All of these Republicans also made claims about Paul Pelosi when he was attacked, so I don't want to hear about them saying that they're the civil ones and we're the ones that are using wild rhetoric when it's the exact opposite.
JD Vance did, you mean?
Like the media is doing. But JD Vance was probably, like many Americans, they listen to the media. And for 8 years, the media has been tearing President Trump apart. A good man who everybody loved before he ran. Imagine having a smear campaign going on about you for 8 years.
Donald Trump was not a good man that everybody loved before he ran. He was known for stiffing his workers in New York. He was known as a scumbag. The only reason he had a somewhat decent image was because the show The Apprentice revitalized him. It turned him from this New York person that nobody really respected to this business mogul who was so successful, a billionaire. And also, imagine having a smear campaign run on you for 8 years. Imagine having a smear campaign run on you for 30 years like Hillary Clinton did. And when she ran in 2016, America was just like middle America hated her so much due to this decade-long smear campaign. That is why she lost. All of these conspiracy theories about her being a pedophile or her killing 30 different people, those led to her loss. Imagine that.
Yeah. Pretty soon everyone wouldn't like you. And so I applaud the fact that people like JD Vance and others, we've seen them, Amber Rose, she did a speech. People are coming over going, whoa, the media was lying and I believed it.
I just want to point out, this is actually some decent framing being used by the Republicans. So a lot of us on Twitter are launching the attacks that JD Vance used to talk trash about Donald Trump. I've tweeted about it myself. There are so many good JD Vance quotes about Donald Trump, but the framing that Republicans are using is that a lot of Americans have gone through the journey that JD Vance went through. A lot of Americans hated Trump in 2016 or hated Trump in 2020 and have grown to like him. Trump has grown on a lot of Americans, and they're using JD Vance as the model. They're holding his journey up and saying, look, it's okay if you were hesitant about Donald Trump as long as you come home in the end, just like JD Vance did. It's actually not bad framing. We're using it as an attack, but they're using it as a strength. They're using JD Vance's biggest weakness, and they're flipping it around and making it a strength.
And it's so irresponsible.
And you falsely claimed that Trump won in 2020. You called for the imprisonment of those who accepted Trump's defeat, including your own opponent in Arizona, Katie Hobbs. Why did you do that?
Called for the imprisonment of what?
Of opponents like Katie Hobbs who accepted Trump's...
Notice that deflection. Kari Lake heard her just fine. Kari Lake heard her just fine. She goes, imprisonment of what? Because she's trying to figure out how she's going to slime her way out of this
defeat. Why did you falsely claim that Trump won in 2020?
Well, I'm not going to sit here and go through all of the evidence of what happened. Do you believe Joe Biden won 81 million votes? Do you think he's more popular? A guy who can't string two sentences together. You believe he's more popular than Barack Obama?
Yes. 2020 was a uniquely heated political landscape, whereas 2008, 2010 was not. In 2020, number one, everyone was staying home due to COVID. Everybody was paying attention to politics. And due to everyone paying attention to politics, everybody realized that Donald Trump is a disaster. So yeah, 81 million people turned up and voted for Joe Biden / voted against Donald Trump. I absolutely believe it. The idea that 2008 and 2020 were both heated at the same level and the turnout would be the same is just totally false. Turnout in 2020 being higher makes total sense.
I'm asking you, do you believe that he is the most popular president in the history? You have to have you got to have brain cells in
Okay,
this.
so
There's a difference between being the most popular president, as in you have the highest popularity or highest approval rating, versus getting the most votes because people wanted to defeat the other guy. These are two different things, and her wording is very slippery here.
you don't believe that Joe Biden won the election in
I
2020?
believe the election was run fraudulently.
And you refused to concede in 2022 as well, your own contest. You
Well,
filed
obviously
unsuccessful
you're sitting
lawsuits.
across the pond and you don't understand what's happened. And I'm not going to argue
You
about
were
it with
sued
somebody.
for defamation.
Yeah. Because this is how corrupt the system is. I pointed out how.
Everything is corrupt against Donald Trump, and I like how she attacks a person, or she launches a personal attack against the reporter. She says, "You wouldn't understand. You're across the pond. You're not American." I'm pretty sure the reporter understands more than you, Kari Lake.
They worked our elections.
You lied about a top Arizona election official. You defamed him. You falsely accused him of injecting 30,000 illegal votes into machines, intentionally misprinting ballots.
Yep.
Do you
It
stand
happened.
by those
Yes,
claims?
it happened.
Would you like to repeat them on air now?
It happened.
You
No,
think
you know what?
that he intentionally misprinted ballots?
If you
he
would-
sued you for this.
Yes, I know. I'm in the middle of it right now. It's lawfare.
Trapped. She's trapped. And what the journalist did, what Emily Meidlas did, was actually really brilliant there. She asked her, "Do you think that politics have been too uncivil?" Kari Lake says, "Well, in the media and on the left, they've been super uncivil." Then she goes, Emily goes, "Okay, but you called for imprisoning your political opponent. You spread all of these lies, and you're saying the other side is the one who's cranking up the heat?"
And he
And guess
said
what?
that
Guess
you
what?
had turned his life upside down. He said you'd made him the
Listen,
target of threats of
Emily,
violence and
Emily,
death.
I'm in the middle of a lawsuit and I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to when you're in the middle of a lawsuit, you don't want to talk about it, okay? We talk about it in court. That's where we talk about it. I feel confident that I've spoken the truth. But you know what?
You made him the target of violence and death. You saw what happened on the stage on Saturday night. You heard Donald Trump say, "Let's lower the temperature." Do you accept the part you played in inflaming the political
I've never,
rhetoric
no.
in this country?
You are just part of the fake news and you're lying. You don't know a damn thing about Arizona. You don't know one thing about our election. And you sit there with a smirk on your face. You're sitting over in England, in the UK, in a country that's being destroyed. I guess
I'm just asking.
And I really
Complete non sequitur. Complete non sequitur. The UK has nothing to do with anything. None of this is about Emily, the reporter. This is all about Kari Lake and her lies. Notice that deflection. She goes, "Oh, just think about your country, the UK." What a deflection. Honestly, it's a professional deflection. That's what happens when you're a radio host for almost 20 years like Kari Lake was, and then you act like you're just completely separate from the media. No, Kari Lake has a lot of practice in media training, and that actually shows in a lot of her debates. You can tell she's really dumb. She doesn't know how to tell lies effectively, but sometimes she knows how to slither her way around answers that someone without media training wouldn't be able to do.
What it says about the
this is the
Republican
last
Party,
question.
that they
This
need
is
to
the- this
lie,
is the
to
last
intimidate, to threaten, because you don't believe you can win at the ballot box. Why would you need to do that?
You are just a sad case of a human being, and I'm so sorry for you. I'm sorry that you bought into the propaganda.
This is what they do. That is what Mike Lindell did to me too. When I started to hit him with facts, he went, "This guy needs to be prayed for. Everybody pray for this man. He is a sad man." It's like, because I don't think the election was rigged.
Hope that you'll look in the mirror and see that you've been following propaganda and you don't understand what's happening.
So
People are so disgusting and infuriating. They'll look you in the eyes and say you're following propaganda while she damn well knows that she's the one spreading it.
Guessing if you don't win in November, you won't concede. That's the rule that you're playing by now, is it?
I actually think you need your head examined.
Can you answer that?
I think you need your head examined.
Kari Lake, thank you very much.